Jerome Powell and the Fed cut interest rates again today by 25 basis points, which the market expected, and this is a good thing. However, during Jerome Powell's speech, the market did dip by quite a bit before it mostly recovered. So what did Jerome Powell say? Let's go over it. Now, the first thing that Jerome Powell said was a really bullish thing, which was that on December 1st, the Fed is no longer going to be allowing their balance sheet to reduce. This is the Fed's balance sheet going as far back as 2010. And since a little bit after COVID, the Fed has just been allowing the bonds and the mortgage-backed securities that they hold to mature. They're not going out and selling these on the market. They're just allowing them to mature. And I kind of think of it as like a catch and release kind of strategy, right? That's what they've been doing. It's a lighter form of quantitative tightening. It is a constrictive monetary policy, but not as constrictive as it could be. If they were out here selling those bonds and mortgage-backed securities, that would be very constrictive, right? They haven't been doing that. But the fact that this is ending and that we will no longer see a decline in the balance sheet is really good for markets. The next thing that'll come, and Jerome Powell was asked on this, would be full-on quantitative easing, which is the Fed going out and buying bonds and buying mortgage-backed securities and taking money and putting it directly into the market, which is really good for asset markets. And when Jerome Powell was asked, well, when will the Fed start doing that? He said, hang on there, young buck. I'm not telling you that. We don't really exactly know. We'll figure that out when we get there. Either way, though, this is a good bullish thing. So why did the markets take a little bit of a dip? Well, it was because Jerome Powell said the thing that he says in every single meeting. So I'm not really quite sure why anyone was particularly surprised by this, which was when he was asked, hey, are you guys going to cut rates again in December? What are you guys going to do? Jerome Powell said, well, we're going to take a look at the data and then make a decision. However, the Fed isn't getting all the data right now because the government's shut down. So they then had a conversation about what types of data the Fed will be able to look at, since the amount of data they're going to have is going to be restrictive, and that they're way more so looking upon their previous data models that were forecasting out inflation and also the U.S. labor market because it included more data. It's probably going to be a better forecast, and they'll take ancillary data that they can get today and into, December to make a decision moving forward. So with that adds just a little bit more uncertainty. And behind me here is the Fed watch, which shows the likelihood for rates to stay the same, which increased by quite a bit, up to 32.8% in December, as compared to 67.2% of us still getting rate cuts. This is still us looking like we're going to get rate cuts in December, but it is a little bit less of a sure thing right now. And as a result, markets dipped during his speech before recovering for the most part.